I do want to move on to the bizarre situation in Houston. This is just, you and I have been talking about this for days.
Yeah.
Last night, the Rockets renounced their rights to Donatas Motiejunas, who now becomes an unrestricted free agent. This is less than a week after they signed Motiejunas to a 4-year, $31 million deal. And let's not forget, 3 weeks after they matched an offer sheet for less money from the Nets. And in the interim, Motiejunas has failed physicals. He's refused to report to practice. I mean, the list it's ridiculous.
My question is, he's a pretty damn good player.
Yeah.
He can play. What went wrong last year that this guy doesn't want to be a part of this organization?
Well, I'll tell you. I'll give you the answer. He got traded last year.
They
Don't
traded
forget
him
about
away
this.
to Detroit.
To Detroit, and the trade got voided. This has been the strangest situation in the 15 years I've covered the NBA in terms of contractual negotiation. He has made some tactical mistakes here.
Some?
He mishandled the offer sheet. He mishandled how he came back to the Rockets. But I'm going to tell you this. He's a unrestricted free agent now. He's been dealing with restricted free agency, basically which he would probably call hell for the last few months. He could still end up winning. He could still end up walking away with a deal that was richer. But you know what? The Rockets are competing to get a top 4 seed in the West. They could have used this player.
Yes.
And I understand that his back is an issue, but this may not end up working out better for either of them in the long run.
He wants to be there.
And the
I think
poor,
that's pretty
well,
hefty.
yeah, he's not there anymore. And poor Nets, by the way, who did all the work on the competing offer sheet, and they are the one team who can now not sign him as an unrestricted free agent. Before we go to break, I want to talk about Kawhi Leonard, the 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. There is a super interesting article on CBSSports.com pointing out how the Spurs defense actually gets statistically worse when Kawhi is on the floor. I know that sounds impossible, but it is true. They are giving up 13 more points per 100 possessions when Kawhi is out on the floor. And Tracy, are you surprised at this? Or once you break it down and look at the clips, you see it?
No, I think once you break it down and look at the clips, you obviously see why they are I guess, give up more points while he's out there, because he's not in the plays. If you look at this right here, this is just great coaching. Now he starts on the ball, and the play is going away from Kawhi Leonard, so he's away from the play. You can't have no impact if you're on the weak side.
They just keep marooning him, is that right?
Absolutely, and this is a smart thing to do because the guy is such a great defender. He impacts the game on both ends of the ball, or the floor. And right here, he's just been a spectator. And
hey, that was Rondo taking on Jumper. That was good defense, actually. This is the charge for Tim Duncan leaving because they've had to change their defensive strategy so much with Gasol and Marcus Aldridge. But if I was Draymond Green, who wants that Defensive Player of the Year award from Kawhi, I'd be printing this article out, passing it out to voters.
Yeah.
I mean, it is interesting. I got to think that Pop, as a tactician, is going to then figure out a way to sort of reintegrate.
It's a crazy number, though. I mean, it's bizarre. And I appreciate you pointing out, Tracy, but I'm going to tell you, on its face, it's one of the strangest statistics I've seen all season.
It really is. Right? I don't buy into it, though.
And obviously, no one's going to sit there and say, oh, Kawhi isn't good for your defense. Right. And the Spurs obviously are 21-5
They're still fifth in the league
right
in
now.
defense.
Yeah, and they're 21-5 right now. But it is a quirk, and it is fascinating to look at. We are going to take a quick break, but first it is time for our distant replay. This is the one and only J.R. Smith from this date in 2010.
Really, for anyone. So you kind of see how it's affecting Tony Parker.
Larry Nance before Larry Nance.
Looking mellow. I love JR. Seriously, I love JR Smith playing basketball.
Off the wrong leg. That's incredible. He jumps off the right leg for a right-hander.
Oh, he should have
People don't understand that.
He
is stronger jumping off the wrong leg.
Amazing. JR. Yesterday was such an emotional day for all of us. Just as we were starting our show, the news broke of our friend Craig Sager's death. And I have to say, though, it was cathartic in the hours after we got off the air to see the tributes pouring in. It was amazing, right? I mean, words of respect from every major figure in the NBA, the Vice President of the United States, billboards, and then as evening fell and the game started, there were the Sager Strong signs. I mean, just everywhere. The Milwaukee Bucks ran out for warm-ups in Sager T-shirts. Greg Popovich, who, for years had that Statler and Waldorf thing going on with Craig, was visibly shaken, and he spoke before the game.
If any of us could display half the courage he has to stay on this planet, to live every life as if it's his last, we'd be well off. We all miss him very much.
It was really amazing. In arena after arena, they celebrated Craig Sager. Steve Kerr led Warriors fans in not a moment of silence, as he put it, but a moment of joy, which was amazing. And Kerr, of course, used to work with Craig at TNT. And as the night wore on, he made it clear where his thoughts were.
I'm not thinking much about this game, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm thinking about Craig and his family, and I'm glad we could honor him, but we're going to miss him.
As usual, the Inside the NBA crew was also stellar. They just showed such incredible grace in the face of so much sadness.
Everybody dies, but very few people live. And Craig Sager lived, and he fought a valiant battle.
You know, most people get one day of tributes, but day two, this morning, the tributes kept coming for Craig. Here was Kobe Bryant on Mike and Mike.
He was one of the rare reporters that could come up to an athlete and the athlete feel completely comfortable to be able to be open with him. And that's a rare gift to have.
And look, for many people, the last time they saw Craig was at the ESPYs over the summer, but he did make a video just a couple weeks ago, and I think he'd want us to play it to let fans know he had seen the outpouring of love directed at him.
Hi, NBA fans. I'm Craig Sager.
I'm Riley Sager. And I'm Ryan Sager. We'd like to thank our NBA family for their unwavering support in our fight against leukemia.
The owners, front office, coaches, players, and in particular, the fans.
Look, seeing Craig like that, it isn't easy. But that is not how I'm going to remember Craig Sager. For me, it will always be the personal moments. The first time I met Craig, when he tapped me on the shoulder at a basketball game in Washington, or the first time he introduced me to his wife, Stacy. He was so proud to be married to her. He acted like he was having me meet the Pope. There were the chats we had before games at arenas, then, of course, post-game. Those conversations may have continued at bars all over America. We were often interrupted by fans who really just wanted to get near him and get a picture. But many times, Craig, he wouldn't just stop and do the camera click. He'd have the person sit down. He'd invite them to just come talk sports with us because he loved it all. And he wanted to soak in absolutely everything and everyone he could. And in the end, that is what I will take away from my time on this earth with Craig, that there is joy everywhere. You just have to be willing to open your eyes, see all the colors. What about you, Tracy?
And all the colors?
All those crazy colors.
For me, there's a couple things. Number one, as a NBA player, for my being drafted, shaking the commissioner's hand, then my first interview is Craig Sager.
You made it, baby.
Yeah, what? That stands out. And then back in December, I talked about this yesterday, my greatest game as an NBA player, when I scored 13 points in 35 seconds against San Antonio, and just one of the most memorable comebacks in NBA history. And I really couldn't control myself because I couldn't believe what I just, did. And, who comes up to me, it was Craig Sager on this historic night. And again, he will always be with me because, he interviewed me on the best night of my NBA career.
We have the interview, actually. I think
Oh, really?
you guys can play it.
Do we?
You guys were so far behind. They had the ball a few seconds. They turn it over. How did you get the ball? What were you thinking?
Well, we were supposed to just trap and go for a steal. Unfortunately, fortunate enough the guy slipped. Ball came right to me. And the only thing I was thinking about, I didn't want to tie the game. So I was thinking about getting up a three. Got it up. Ball game. I never been a part of anything like this. So you got it.
All right, well, Nick, I hope you get a chance to get to look at the replay, but that's why you're the NBA scoring champ.
I appreciate it, Chris.
That's so nice, right?
Yeah.
I don't know
He
what's
hasn't
better.
stopped looking at the replay. He watches the replay every day.
Well, I don't know what's better, the joy on your face as you were talking to Craig or the pout on Craig Popovich.
That was
Captured
classic.
there for a moment.
Back in 2012, also involved Popovich. That was the night where the Spurs rested their star players, sent him home on a Southwest Airlines flight from Miami.
Right. It was supposed to be the big rematch, right?
Big rematch of the finals, and it was on TNT. And so during the game, David Stern fines the Spurs $250,000. Doesn't wait till the next day, during the second quarter. And so after the game, we're in the hallway and we're like, how are we going to ask this question? Are we going to ask him about the fine? What are we going to do? And Craig says, I'll take care of this. Strides in, asks Pop 2 questions, gets absolutely no answers. Pop walks back into the locker room, says, beat it. And I was like, well, I'm glad Craig did that and I didn't have to do it.
I mean, it is amazing. And seeing all these memories, right, over the past 24 hours, 12 hours, however long it's been, I can't keep track. It feels like a long time. The tributes from his children have been amazing, and his family. And I think, what we heard Charles Barkley say there in the clip, that, this was a guy who lived, who truly lived. We all have a limited amount of time here. We all have a limited amount of influence on the people around us. And the fact that he made the most of every moment that he had, again, long before he was diagnosed with leukemia. This is not something that just popped up when he realized he was sick. That is something that he influenced a lot of people for such a long time, and appreciated life and appreciated the world around him for such a long time. It was truly special. He will be so missed by our NBA family, and we use that expression a lot, but it actually does mean something to the people in and around the game. Craig was such a big part of that family, and he will always be a part of that family going forward.
Mislead. It's a make or miss lead. Make or miss. It's a make or miss lead. Make or miss. It's a make or miss. It's a make or miss lead.
Make chemistry. Klay Thompson threw down the 2 alley-oops to JaVale McGee. McGee made sure Thompson high-fived him forcibly, basically.
I'm starting to like JaVale McGee with this starting.
I don't think Klay liked it at all.
Look at that high five.
Klay's not into
no
it. No
acknowledgement, though. Come on, Klay.
He's not into JaVale.
That was unbelievable.
Only JaVale can screw up when he did something right.
And screw up a high five. Miss hops, 6'11", Joakim Noah lost a jump ball to 6'3" Steph Curry last night. T-Mac.
Well, Joakim is not known for being a leaper, so.
Well, look at this now. If he's not complaining at the officials, he can get the ball. The ball
rebound.
But I think he did get stolen from him. I think it was a.
I don't know. I think he
he's
was sleeping on that one.
Twitch muscles.
Turn around and complain.
Make dimes. Let's see. I can't even see what this is. A no-look pass.
Jokic.
Looks like the Nuggets, right?
Nice ball, big
Nikola Jokic. By the way, look at this pass. It's tough on the pass and no look. It's a double word score.
You're doing the crossword? Scrabble?
Dame Dollar gave him 40 and 10 last night, though.
Yeah,
With the L.
defense didn't help out.
Doing all year.
Miss the Lopez brothers. Jabari Parker dunked on Robin Lopez last night.
Bad week for the Twins, man.
Just one night after his brother was posterized by Larry Nance Jr.
That was worse, though.
I'm stealing this from Amin El Hassan. The Lopezes are distracted by the release of Rogue One.
That's no.
It's coming out tonight.
That's not.
In theaters, Disney produced.
That's
Rogue
a
One.
terrible, terrible cross promotion and also a terrible analysis. So,
how dare you, Rachel?
That is it.
How dare you?
You're going to get kicked off the show in 1 minute when it's over. Okay, make amends. I applaud this. After pulling 7, well, I don't applaud that they pulled 7 Streeter from singing the national anthem back in October, but I do applaud that the Sixers are going to have her back to sing the anthem tonight. This is important. It's a big deal.
Well, I'm glad they're having her back. She is from the home team, but it's not national televised.
It is.
Well, the game is televised. The anthem, I don't think is national.
Here's what I know. She ends up winning here because I didn't know who 7 was beforehand. You did.
The anthem won't
The fact
be
that
national
you
televised.
didn't know who 7 Streeter was is not like a
So
surprise
good. You know
to
who she
America.
is now. That's all that matters.
Exactly.
She's my girl from
It's
Polk
Friday.
County.
We hope you all have a
Haines
wonderful
City,
weekend.
Florida.
Remember Craig
Arvindale,
Sager in
Florida.
your own way, and watch Tracy McGrady sink some baskets. We will see you back on the jump on Monday. That was so white.